up, guys? One-handed here. Facebook. Give me both hands for just a second. I made this loop long AF back in the day, and I found it a couple weeks ago. All right, we shared out on the Facebook. I gotta fix my chair. There we go. I was half on, half off the rug. Ah. 5.5 minutes, huh? 5.5 minutes, huh? Get this thing a little closer in here to me so I can be heard. All right, so let's see. I've got this thing shared out on my Facebook page. Let's go share here. Share now. Or no, not share now. Share on, not on my timeline. On a page I manage. Not that one, but that one. Include original post. Yeah, why not? Live right now. Ba-ba-da-bum. Ba-da-dum, 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 ba-da-dum. Okay, got that shared out on the Facebook page there. Got it shared out on the Facebook page. That's just neat. Live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios. I usually do these things with the acoustic, and I'll just sit here and like finger pick the whole time. But this time, why not? Let's ramp it up a little bit. And now instead of it being like nice little finger picking things, it'll be more like a. How's it going there, Abby? Indeed, the weddings took. Unfortunately, couldn't be at both of them, but the one that I got to be at was I snuck away from kind of early. And I do that a lot. I do that. Let me go ahead and start recording here because I want to get this on audio. There is a thing called the Irish farewell. And it is when a person, different kind of noodle, that's right, got a different noodle today. Actually, yes, there's a thing called an Irish farewell. It's where a person does not want the party to die a little bit, because the party dies a little bit every time someone leaves. And if a person does not announce that they are leaving and they just leave, that is called the Irish farewell, because Irish do not want the party to die at all. So I did that for the wedding, I told a few people just so that if it came up later that I was gone, that they would speak on my behalf. He didn't want the party to die, knowing that I was leaving, because I was kind of like co-DJing, and one, I felt really bad about not being able to be at my brother's wedding in California, and yeah, I felt really bad about that. So but it was good to see. It was good to see my friends that I've known for a long time and see often get married, and I know those kids are gonna make it, as will Brother Kerry and Kate, our friends over at Screwball Whiskeys, live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios, which you can find here. Let's give you a link. Let's get in here. No, not to that. Well, I do need that to keep rolling, but no, let's go in here. Where's the thing? Here's the thing. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to go there. Well, maybe not. Anyway, it's once I find the website for this, I'm going to drop it in the comments section. That's my guitar. Why is this not working right? Okay, here we go. Oh, I was spelling it wrong. So here we go. If you guys want to taste something delicious in your mouths, then click that link that I've just put up there. Screwball, SKREWBALLWHISKEY.com, and get your peanut butter fill. Everybody loves peanut butter. Everybody loves whiskey, right? Mix the two. Yeah, I was very, very upset visibly the other night when I was doing the podcast. I was just like stressed out that I wasn't going to be able to be there, and I was just really sad about that. But it's the weekend is past. That situation is behind all of us, and I'm sad that I wasn't a part of it in California. Very sad that I wasn't a part of it. But I got a pretty good idea of how to make it up, you know. So, this last few days have been interesting because I have gotten to the point where I've started playing games on my phone again, and I had stopped playing games on my phone, and now all I'm doing is playing this damn game with this fucking butler that wants you to help him fix up his parents' house so that they won't sell it. And I'm not going to name the name of the game because I'm just not going to do it. But, yeah. Got to help this damn butler fix up this house that his parents are selling. And there's another game that is made by the same company that I also downloaded that is about a butler who is a butler of a house that you have just bought. So I'm like, am I playing the part one and the sequel of this game all at once? But it really is just a ploy to get you to play the little match the fruit into the, like Candy Crush used to be. And I used to play this thing called Jelly Splash back in the day, and it owned my life for a really long time. And it was, I don't know, it's just not, it was not a good time in my life. But I'm starting to play those games on my damn phone again, and I'm just starting to fall back into that shit, and I got to get out of it. I realized yesterday that, what was that? I realized yesterday that I was like more inclined to help this butler in this game in my phone fix up his parents' house than I am to do my own dishes, which I did, finally. I did most of them. I still got a couple more things to do, but I did most of them. And another thing I did, like an idiot, I'm probably going to be sick, and I'm not looking forward to it. I accidentally ate eggs that have been expired for almost a month. Pretty sure I'm going to die. If I die, you guys know it was the eggs. That's what did it. It was the damn eggs. And as soon as I realized that and I didn't eat the whole thing, eat all the eggs either. I only ate probably there were 3 eggs, and I cooked all of them. And I probably ate like a third of that. So yeah, I probably ate an egg. But I cooked the shit out of it. I actually cooked it too much because I was like, damn it, I burned them. But yeah, am I going to die because I ate an egg that had been expired for over a month? Is that going to kill me? Should I be worried? I don't know. I need some help from some moms out there. Or just somebody that knows more than me about this. I just know there's a lot of moms out there that watch. Speaking of which, happy Mother's Day week. I'm also watching Game of Thrones too. I'm going back. I don't think I've told you guys this already. I'm watching Game of Thrones again, and I am on season 7, episode 4. I just started that one. My sister texted me and where are you at? And I said season 4. I was an episode off. I thought I was on 4 and I was on 3. But yes, at this rate, I've watched a season a day, and that's, I think, pretty impressive. And that's also probably why I haven't been going live a lot. Liz, how's it going? Liz, I ate 8-month-old expired eggs. Am I going to die? What's going to happen to me? But yeah, that's why I haven't been going live a lot lately, because I've been watching this Game of Thrones. Yeah, I figured as much. I figured it's gonna kill me. Oh well, it was good knowing you guys. Well, you better catch it. She said her nose is running. Yeah, so, yeah, Game of Thrones is pretty awesome. And I know that it's on right now, which means that if you guys are watching me, you're not watching Game of Thrones. So they're probably not talking to a lot of, Oh, no, you heard a rumor about Adam Sandler and Tina Fey? We were talking, Liz was texting me earlier about Saturday Night Live. See, here's how I felt about it. I loved Adam Sandler growing up. Like, he was one of my idols growing up. And I wanted to see him bring back all of these characters. I didn't necessarily want to see all of the other characters like be him, but it was, for nostalgia's sake, I loved the episode. I thought it was great. And that Chris Farley song, man, I was like, when I get serious about something, I will like get up from wherever I'm sitting and stand in front of the TV like a child, where they tell you back up or you go blind. Or whatever they tell you when you're a kid. Don't stand close to the TV, you're going blind. Oh, that makes sense. Tina hates him because there were so many drugs before she got there. Because of him and Farley. I could see that. That actually makes a lot of sense. And that goes back to the other thing that I was saying earlier, but I can't say that on here because like that's sort of like a privileged information that I was privy to that I probably shouldn't have been privy to. So. But yeah, that's interesting. I remember one of the guys, he was a band director when I was going to Latta High School in probably 2000, 99, 98. Actually, yeah, probably 98, 99. And he told me, because I have really bad handwriting, and he was like, if you just take your time, if you don't try to write so fast, you'd like it'd be a lot easier to read. If you take your time with it and it looks nice, you'll feel good about doing something like that. And he told me, if you ever want You know, we started talking about like comedy because I was really into stand-up comedy back then. My favorite thing ever, and I'm not hating to admit it because we didn't know back then, but my favorite thing ever was Bill Cosby himself. And that was the funniest thing that I'd ever seen. I could do the whole thing from start to finish. And he was the one that told me, if you really like Bill Cosby, you know, you should listen to like all of the Saturday Night Live crew. Watch Saturday Night Live because all of the great comedians of the age go through Saturday Night Live. And that's pretty true, I think. Like all of your great comics, all of your great, well, not like the comics that I love are definitely podcast comics. But if you think about the ones that are making movies and all the comedy movies for over the years, like all your best ones kind of went through Saturday Night Live first. That's not been so true in the... Actually, it still is because Tina Fey is doing some of the best TV shows and stuff that I've seen. Same with Amy Poehler that did all of them. Pretty much anybody that goes through Saturday Night Live is going to come out on top, basically already. They're going to go walk into the... And I thought the bit about because I got fired, I thought that was a funny bit. With him bringing Pete Davidson out at the end, being like, yeah, not yet, but it's coming, buddy. Don't you worry. They're going to get rid of you soon. And him and Chris Rock. Chris Rock being there was just kind of cool because I know that they both like shared an office. Like Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, and I think David Spade shared an office. But half of them are from Chicago, probably. Are they? Is that true? I wouldn't doubt it. And live from New York, it's Saturday night. Live from Merle's Inlet, it's Sunday night. I got Game of Thrones paused, and the whatever I paused it on is an ad for something, and Deadpool is staring at me on my TV right now. You can't make this up. I'm gonna take a picture of this. Oh yeah, Elena Tyrell. Yep, that's the one. My sister texted me about Game of Thrones. She gone. Oh yeah, well, comedy. Chicago's got Second City, right? I think that's where Second City is. And oh, I gotta take a picture of this thing. Oh, you know what? I taped my screen. Never mind. I'm not gonna take a picture of it. Deadpool's looking at me. Damn it. Chicago is where blues went electric. You know that? Isn't that where you're at, Liz? Aren't you out there by Chicago? Is that... Am I screwing that all up? Okay, I got that right. You flip the switch and it's a different guitar. Charlotte, North Carolina, huh? The guitar player in my band that me and oh yeah, well everybody was bitching about the man bun the other night. Not everybody, but a couple people were like, no man bun. And I was like, listen, that's sleep position. That's because I got up off of the couch to do it, and I didn't feel like taking it down and putting it back up when I got back on the couch to watch Game of Thrones afterwards, because that's my life now. But yeah, all the hair out, all the hair going tonight. But yeah, shit. The guitar player in the band, Adam, is from Clover. or his family's from Clover up there, so that's right up by Charlotte, Lake Wiley area. Hell yeah, absolutely. You know what's funny is actually we were gonna. I think we're. Hold on. Do we have a gig? Let me look. Do we have a gig up there sometime next? Maybe this month even. What is this month? No, I think it is in June. Let's see. No, not in June. Hold on. I think I might got one. I think I might have one in Charlotte. Now you know what? It's in Chapin. Chapin. Are you close to Chapin? Is that up there? It's a Catfish Johnny's up there. I was told it was Charlotte, but it looks like it's not. Interessante. I thought it was after like a Boone trip or something when we went to Boone. Maybe. I'm thinking about something different. Who knows? Okay. Had to let the Hobo Kitties. That sounds fun. That sounds like a band name. The Hobo Kitties. My sister texted me about Game of Thrones. I have to text her back in a little bit. Nah, we did have a gig that was supposed to be in Charlotte. I don't know when the hell it is though. I know we've got it. I just my calendar has so many dates on it that I don't. Yeah, I would just it'd take too long to look through all of them to find it. But we were going to be stopping there on the way back from a trip to Boone, North Carolina. And curious. Very curious. Yeah, I don't know. Catfish Johnny's in Lake Murray. Which Catfish Johnny's bought Bubba's Love Shack here in the inlet where I live. Got a Pirates Cove gig coming up in June. Hadn't played Pirates Cove in years. Wow. Yeah, we'll find out. I'll find out whenever it gets closer and let you know for sure. Oh, thank you, Abby. Yeah, so anyway, I went to the wedding yesterday, and I went to Chad and Brittany's wedding. So for their wedding, I had to set up my PA system for the ceremony because they didn't have the groom has the same exact PA system that I've got, and he set up his for the reception, which was at a different spot than the ceremony, and we ended up needing both of them, so I set up mine to play the walkout songs, and me and Patrick, who's been on the podcast with me several times. He's the one that did the Endgame episode with me. I think the last guest that I've had. And by the way, I'm going to be getting more guests back in here soon. I've been in a lethargic state, and I've been not feeling like, excuse me, I've been not feeling like doing much, and I've been lazy about booking guests, so I'm sorry about that. Golden peach. But, yeah, been really lazy about that. Oh, you're on a 16-minute delay. Back to the real world, she said to me, condescendingly, take a seat, take a rise, write it out in black and white. I never lived the truth of the drama queens, I let it in the best of me. Still hiding on my sleeve. And all to tell you, still inside the line. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's what Liz actually texted me today. She was listening to one of the old episodes, the Why I Quit Drinking and depression and anxiety. Dude, I described it in that episode pretty well, that I'm just very temperamental emotionally and mentally, and I have, peaks and valleys like any other person, and mine just affect me a little differently. Yes, she is, and no, we do not. Liz asking my mom's still alive. Yeah, as far as I know, she is, and no, we do not talk. I make it a point not to, and I know that it's horrible. For those who have kids, and it's horrible for those who have kids because they think in terms of if one of their children were to do that to them. But I can assure you that you guys are much better than a much better person and a much better mother than she ever could be. So, like, your children will never have a reason to do, yeah, and it is 100%. It's definitely for the best. But with Mother's Day coming up next week, I will probably be doing be talking a lot about her. So I'm not going to give her a lot of time this week. But I will say this. I kind of stay away from the other family, just because I don't go anywhere where she knows I could be. I don't go anywhere where she knows that I know where it is, And if for instance I haven't gone. No, my granddad is still alive. He's in Bennettsville, but and I actually talked to him for a while. I would call him and talk to him and just see if he was all right, and just carry on a conversation with him. And I was still drinking, and I was like trying to quit drinking, and I know that he had cirrhosis, and I was trying to stop. And I was just talking to him and asking him stuff, and then I just started thinking back about how, like, I was just a problem for them. I never saw him except for like on holidays and stuff, and then it was only for like a few minutes. Like, it was nothing like we never, like, it's like they were strangers that I knew really well, if that makes any sense. Like, strangers that I was like very closely associated with, and so I really didn't, other than sharing some genes. I don't really have anything to do with them, and they never really have much to do with me. But yeah, I don't really think about it. I mean, I could make my own family, but I don't know that might be for me one day, but I really just don't know. I never plan that far ahead. If something ever comes up to where that's a possibility, then sure. I mean, I'll be prepared for that. But yeah, I'm not making any plans for that at all. Because one thing I feel like is that there's so many other people that are reproducing, and the world. There's too many people in the world already, and I know that. I don't know. Be my cyber mom, and don't get me wrong. My stepmom, my stepmom is very much my real mom. You know, like she is the best person. She's like the best person to have learned what a mom should be from. Like she's done a really good job of that, and like she is very, very cool. Exactly, that's what I mean, Liz. That's what I'm talking about. Like I want to be like if this is the family. Like if this is what everything's going to be going to anyway. I did a talk the other day where I was like got real prophetic and like. This is how it's going to be. Like this is what everybody's going to be doing eventually. This is the future. All of this stuff that's going on right now, like me videoing my conversation with you guys, and this is how people are going to communicate in the future. You know, this is it. That's really cool, Abby. Yes, people that love you and are there for you. And I do have plenty of that. I have some really great friends. You know, I was thinking about this earlier when I was like sitting around sulking by myself that I see posts of things on Facebook where I should have been, and I'm like, man, I should have been there. And that sucks pretty bad, but it was all of my own doing. I was at fault for not being able to make it, but yeah, me too, Liz, for sure. I talk to y'all way more than I talk to my extended family, and I do too. I enjoy that. I like the whole like not having to worry about. I don't know. I'm not good at keeping up with people. I'm not good at it at all. Like I would leave and I wouldn't call for like weeks or months, and everybody would take it personal, and I'm just like, it's not anything personal. It's just I'm out of sight, out of mind. And that's how I am. I can't help that. I'm just fine. If I don't see you every day or like talk to you every day, I'm very out of sight, out of mind. And I don't mean to be that way. It's just that's how I am. But yes, I was talking the other day about how all of this is how the future is going to be. No, good that you know what an Irish farewell is, Abby, and I appreciate that. But yeah, I do believe this is how the future is going to be. Like everybody is going to be communicating each other through these means, because it's going to just be easier to not leave your house. And I think that those people will outnumber the amount of people who wish to get out into the world and be around other people. And I think that is exactly what they want. They being the royal they want people to stay home. And you know what? I'm fine with it. Because I've already gotten their anxiety. Call it the things that whoever the royal they is. Yeah, I think that's, but I try not to think that's how everyone is too much, because I think that very often, and then I realize that, like, man, what do I know? Like, I think that everybody's like me, and that is, the world is scary. I think that everyone is like me. And that I feel like I've made the mistake of thinking that I'm a normal person for a long time. And I realized that I'm not normal. People aren't like me. Everybody is unique. Nobody is normal. Everybody is different. Like, nobody accepts things the same way. But for me, I'm fine with the concept of not having to leave the house. I haven't even unlocked my door all day. It stayed locked. I haven't opened it. I haven't cracked it. I haven't done anything. And I'm fine with that. I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do when I was a kid. Absolutely nothing. But I got a couple, like 3 good months. Like, this week's decent. Oh yeah, I do get out with my band, and a lot of people ask about that. I actually talked about this last night at Chad and Brittany's wedding. Whenever I was in the middle of making my Irish farewell, I explained what the Irish farewell was to a group of people about a half hour before I did it. And to these people, we were talking about anxiety, and I was talking about most of the podcasts that I listen to are like comedy podcasts, like comedians, Your Mom's House and Kill Tony and Joe Rogan and occasionally Marin, occasionally Ari Shafir, Skeptic Tank, but like all of these people, like Theo Vaughn and Joey Diaz, like the comedians, I listen to a lot of their podcasts. And she was like, "Do you think that you'll ever want to do stand up because of having anxiety? Do you think you'll ever be able to like be up and around like in front of people and stuff like that?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm in front of people all the time playing music, but I'm fine with that." See, I speak to however many people are watching right now like I'm speaking to 20,000 people, because that's that's where hold on. Everyone's a weirdo in the suburbs where the normal people are, supposedly. Oh yeah, you're right. They're as weird as anybody else. But yeah, but I'm fine with like I'm speaking to you for watching right now, like I'm talking to 20,000 people, because there's potentially 20,000 people that could see some of this one day over the course of time. And I'm speaking like that, and I'm constantly doing that, and I always speak like I'm being heard by everybody in the world. Even when I'm in private, I'm always speaking like I could be heard by everybody in the world. And with the world as my witness seems like a cool thing to label that as. Like, I speak with the world as my witness, like as if the world or the universe or whatever you want to call it is always watching, like with God as my witness. And I don't have a problem getting in front of people, but the one thing that I do have is my space. Not MySpace. I don't have MySpace anymore, but I have my space on stage. Like, I have a place where no one else can come, a place where no one else can step inside. Like, and I'm very peculiar about that bubble that I create. Like, I imagine it as the PA system that I set up, or my mic stand. Everything that is part of the musical equipment, everything that is part of the music has a bubble around it, that it should not be touched, it should not be broken, that line should not be broken. And I hate it when it is, and I freak out when it is, no matter who it is, really, unless they're like somebody invited, like Brother Gary Flowers or some of those folks. Yeah, I know it's anxiety and depression is the worst. And yeah, as an entertainer, I do have that. But I'm not necessarily as an entertainer, as a person who grew up a halfway before 9/11 and the other half after. Like, yeah, I had a half of my life as of right now. I'm pretty sure I was. Shit, what was it, 2001? So yeah, I'm a little bit more than half of my life old. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm stoned. Forgive me. I'd already lived half of my life, but when 9/11 happened and the second half after, I mean, and if that don't give you anxiety, I don't know what will. People who weren't alive when it happened, I'm sure they get anxiety, but not like, I bet not like us. And I certainly appreciate all of you folks watching. If you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button and that subscribe button, I would certainly appreciate that. Also, just while I'm on it, if you guys want to follow me on any of the social medias, they are all in the description below. And you can go to mistuffpodcast.com, where I have been updating the blog somewhat regularly. These kids are depressed. They have to be depressed, right? Depression hurts worse than any physical pain I've ever felt in my life. Like, because it's like a sore you can't rub. I don't know who said that, but it's like, you know, when you like hurt your shoulder or something like that, and you just start rub. Your initial instinct is to rub it. Is to you know, a scratch you can't, or an itch you can't scratch, rather. Huh. I think everybody has probably got a little touch of depression, and if somebody doesn't have a touch of it, I really want to know their secret. But I feel like that there are nobody without depression. There are no people without depression. There are just people who hide it better than others. And if that's not, I mean, rub the hurt with the weed. You know, it's a hurt you can't rub. Depression is like you can't touch it. So, also, while I'm sort of in the vein of talking about all the pages, I am too, Liz, very good at hiding it until I'm not. When it comes out, it's no secret. I am going to be playing in Pawleys Island, South Carolina, with the American Sound, and Brother Daryl on Thursday the 9th is going to be out of town. Brother Daryl is. So I have asked our very good friend, MI Stuff Podcast alumni, Tommy Tipton, to come and do this gig with us at the Pit, and that's going to be happening from 8 to 12 on Thursday night in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. This coming Thursday, the 9th, I believe it will be. Yeah. Joey Diaz just released a podcast. His is good. Joey Diaz is like a throwback to one of those people who still talks the way people talk before. Like, he doesn't give a shit about being PC at all. He does not give a fuck. And I love watching people who do that, and I love watching people who talk like that. Just because I might not agree with everything that they say, but they are a throwback to a time when it was not a big deal, when people didn't get so offended at words like that, because that's just, you know, it's just something that people say, and it's not to mean any offense at all. Like, when people, you would just say things not meaning any offense, but like just saying them. And though I won't do that, and I've decided this is not a smart thing for me to do, and I see what you say there, Liz. I hide too. I've been in hiding for over a year now, and I'm not ashamed of that. But anyway, yeah, I get shit. Where was I just at? started thinking about hiding for over a year, because I really have. It's been more than a year. Oh, yeah. No political correctness, yeah. Joey Diaz. He just talks like people used to talk back in the day. And you know, people might have been like, oh, they were racist and you accepted it. And I'm like, no, there's no racism there. They might have been saying things that racists use negatively, but they were not using the thing with negative connotation. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate it. I have that short-term thing pretty bad. But yeah, I just don't know. I don't know of another person who really has taken up that crown that Joey Diaz has right now. Like nobody's doing that like he is. The Church of What's Happening Now is the name of his podcast. If you ever get an inkling to listen to somebody who does not give a single fuck in this world. I need co-hosts, yeah. I've actually got people who have been offering to do that, like just to come and sit with me while I do the podcast and like look up things when I need them to look up things and do that. But I just kind of haven't been, and that would actually be a good thing to do when I have a guest. Like if I have a guest, I will just to have somebody to where I can like focus on conversation. And not really have either one of us have to, because we'll always have questions and things that need to be looked up. John Repack wants to do that. Where you at, Repack? You in the chat anywhere? Lurking, ghosting? You one of those people watching and ain't talking, Repack? He wants to do an episode, and he's been talking about doing one forever, but I don't know if I don't know if he's nervous about it, or you're welcome to come, Repack. You're welcome to come and hang out and sit whenever we're doing an episode and chill. Yeah. Well, the thing is that a lot of people have a problem with not knowing where to go in the conversation. Like, and if, I constantly, 100%. I constantly forget what I'm talking about. But usually if you got somebody, like even a guest, you can talk your way back to where you started talking, you know. But I kind of like the way these conversations go where they're not planned. Because that's how conversations go. I want this to be a recorded conversation. I don't necessarily want this to be a podcast for your listening pleasure. And I realize that there's not a lot of people who get pleasure, like actual, like if it's somebody who wants to be part of the YouTube chat while I'm recording these, like you guys have a good time, I'm sure. But if it's somebody like who's listening to the podcast and they want to get like information or they want to learn something or gain something, then I you know what, I can hit that nail on the head 2 or 3 times out of every podcast. I bet there's something that I say that's like, never thought of that way. And I bet that I do that at least 2 or 3 times in every podcast. But other than that, I'm sure there's not a lot of pleasing sounds other than the occasional guitar that I'm playing. But I don't really do any like sound bites or anything like that, or any kind of like random stuff like, stop me, beautiful. Unless it's from American Pie, or if I'm telling this story like something that happened this.
And one time at band camp.
Yeah, and that's just like.
Well, safer than a tube sock.
That's what I'm thinking, but
This is just bad reception, honey.
Respect my hairy ass.
What's that?
Yeah. I mean, just I'm sure it's not like as audibly pleasing as a lot of other podcasts are, and I realize that, but that's not necessarily my angle. I'm not really trying to go for that. Everybody else does that. Everybody else does the the soundbite heavy thing, and like where they're like they have everything's all organized and cut off in different little boxes and everything like that. And my type of organization is not that kind of organization. Pleasing sounds. That's right. Audibly pleasing sounds. But yeah, this is not that kind of a thing. Like, if I want to sit here and play something, sure, that sounds cool. And yeah, that might be a pleasing sound. But I started this thing to like talk about I started this thing talking about my problems, and some of the first compliments that I got on the podcast was actually the episode you listened to, Liz, earlier today, the alcohol and depression, why I quit drinking. I think that is episode number 6 of this podcast. And I think that I lose some of the vulnerability that I've gained by bearing that for the world to see. And what is it? Como se dice, take up that bed and walk, or pick up that cross, bear that cross, or whatever. Like I've already put that part of me out into the world. I think that I exposed the most vulnerable part of myself within that episode, and I got the most compliments on how honest I was, and I loved that because I've taken pride in my honesty over the years. That's the thing that I love about my character the most, is my honesty, and I loved that compliment. So I want to like, yeah, well, I realize that Abby, she ironically enough appreciate it when I let listeners know the comments you address. Like I want the listeners to not, and I realized I was just like reacting to your comments, thinking that the listeners could see them as well for a while, but I realized that they're not. So I want to make sure that the listener doesn't go, in the dark in this conversation. But but yeah, I just like oh shit, I did it again. Where was I, Liz? But yeah, it takes away from the flavor, 100%. So you're reminding me you're reminding me from the past here. So yeah, it doesn't come off the same if it's not honest. And I feel like, case in point, I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan. Joe Rogan's my favorite podcast. Joe Rogan has stopped going live, and I don't get in the comments of any of his stuff ever. I don't ever read the comments or care about anything that they say. But Joe Rogan has stopped going live. He has started uploading his episodes rather than doing a live feed. So it says that there is something in this episode that could be missing that could have been key to the episode. Like, think if that Alex Jones episode was an edited episode, like how much of that stuff could have been taken out or whatever. And his podcast, Liz, Joe Rogan's podcast, is my absolute favorite. I modeled this one after his. I loved his way of interviewing people. I loved the guests. I loved all of his guests. And a lot of people are like bitching about Joe Rogan for not having any gender variety in his guests. And I'm like, well, I don't see that there's a problem with not having people on that you don't really wouldn't really have a reason to talk to. Not saying that he doesn't have a reason to talk to women. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But just a lot of the line of work that he's in makes him have to deal with a lot of other males. And he does have females on and stuff. People are bitching at him about that, but I'm not going into that at all. But I listen to his podcast regularly, and I don't really see there being a lack of equality as far as his. That I think, Liz, I think that's why he is not live anymore. Liz says he handed Adam Ruins Everything. Adam, whatever, Conifer, or whatever his name is. Conifer's a tree, isn't it? I think that's his name, though. Adam something from Adam Ruins Everything. He had him on. Pen the cartoon of Roman AJ. I don't know what that means. But yeah, he did. He absolutely handed him his ass. But I think that's probably why he's not live anymore. But the point that I was trying to make in saying that is I don't want to lose that authenticity. I want to remain live. I want to stay as honest as possible. I stopped editing these. Oh, Rogan. I got you. Dude, that whole part where him, Alex Jones, and Eddie Bravo are just screaming at each other because Eddie's screwing with Alex. But yeah, seriously, I want to remain honest with the listener. I want the listener to know that I don't take anything out of these episodes. That's why I do the YouTube. That's why I started doing the YouTube. As a matter of fact, when we were doing Sunset Grill episodes, one of the main reasons, full disclosure, why I am not as crazy about doing the Sunset Grill episodes as much as I was is because I would edit it down and I would send it to Noah, and then I would get it back and like, hey, can you take this out? Can you change this up? Can you do this? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do that, blah, blah, blah. It's not much trouble. Okay, cool. Episode 1, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do this. Whatever you need, I can do that. That's no problem. But then episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, episode 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm like going through, and in the middle of the episode, you'd be like, hey, can you please cut that part out? In the middle of the episode, hey, can you cut this out? Can you cut that out? And I'm like, I just began to hate it because it was almost like Alex Jones is crazy. Alex Jones is Bill Hicks. Liz thinks Alex Jones is crazy. I agree. But either way, the reason I don't really care about doing those anymore is because it was just I would do a lot of really hard work on on the Sunset Grill podcast, and I was the only one that was doing that kind of hard work. Like, I understand that looking up subjects to talk about is work, but that is a grain of rice compared to the work that I did by editing and publishing and doing everything else to this podcast. And the risk reward was not, it didn't stand up over time. Yeah, exactly. Rogan was so fucking cool he had him on a second time. He shouldn't have. See, I don't know that he shouldn't have. I don't agree with the things that Alex Jones says. I don't especially specifically the Sandy Hook stuff. I don't agree with that. There were people who actually lost their lives. I know. Adam Justice's wife, Adam Justice, who you've heard Jamie talk about a bunch, and he's in the band with me. His wife is from that area, and there were a lot of lives lost in that situation. Like, there were a lot of families that were hurt, and I'm not knocking that at all. But I do believe that Alex Jones was not done right as far as this whole deplatforming thing. He says crazy shit, but but we've always known he says crazy shit. I mean, this is almost like the people who wanted to hold Ozzy responsible for the kids killing themselves, or Marilyn Manson responsible that the kids were killing themselves. Like, this music has nothing to do with that. Like, I don't think that Alex Jones has anything to do with. Of course, to say he doesn't have anything to do with these crazy people's mindset is foolish. I realize that he does. But I don't think that. I think that that's really cutting into our freedom of speech if he gets deplatformed, and even Milo, who just I think all of these people who I disagree with, I just because I disagree with them don't mean that I want their voices to be silenced. I don't think that's right. I don't think that anybody should have the right to silence a person on the internet just because it's freedom of speech. Or QAnon, there's no redemption for Alex. His drunkenness is serious. Stop listening to it. Yeah, I think so. I mean, the first podcast I ever listened to was episode number 1 or episode number 911 of Joe Rogan with Alex Jones and Eddie Bravo, the very first one. How's it going, Jalen? Welcome to the machine. And yeah, like I just don't think that. I just don't think that these rules. I'm watching Game of Thrones. How many of you guys watch Game of Thrones? And if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, I'll give it a few minutes, because what I'm about to say will be potentially a spoiler for the beginning seasons, because I'm only on season 7 right now. But are any of you guys familiar with Game of Thrones at all, or do you care about Game of Thrones, or do you mind me telling something that may just potentially be a spoiler? Or anything like that? Are you guys fine with that? I want to wait a few minutes because I realize that I might be a little behind. But I just thought of the perfect analogy for what I'm trying to say to this Game of Thrones thing. So basically what I'm saying is no one should be able to wield that sword of who's allowed to post here, who's allowed to say their things, whose voice is allowed to be heard on the internet. As far as the Alex Jones and the Milo, and what's the other guy? What's something of a side? I can't. But anyway, okay. Lost ruined me, Abby. I was so pissed off at the end. But anyway, this isn't really that big of a spoiler. So there is. In Game of Thrones, there was an evil queen. I'm not going to give any names away just for spoiler's sake. Yeah, actually, that really does. Believe it or not, Liz, and before I go further away from this point, the Saturday Night Live, if you want to watch Saturday Night Live, you can pretty much stay up to date on everything going on in the world. If you stay up to date on Saturday Night Live, everything else in the world you'll be pretty much up to date on. So, anywho, in Game of Thrones, there was an evil woman who went to pretty much the religious leader of the kingdom, or whatever you want to call it, and convinced him that people with gold should not be exempt of their sins. And sometimes very rich people have sinned, and their sin should be weighed equally to everybody else in the kingdom. So he said, yeah, by her exposing this thing, even with her ill-willed, on Saturday Night Live. But anyway, what I mean is that by exposing this loophole that gold cannot save those who are sinning in Game of Thrones, she along with the people that she was trying to expose were all locked away. So what I mean to say is that if you're going to take Alex Jones and Milo off of the air, you're also opening the doorway for everybody to be taken off of the air for something. This is just the first drop of rain of a torrential storm that will never end if we continue to let them limit us on our freedom of speech. Because, damn it, this is fucking America. If there's anywhere that you can say anywhere where you're free to worship the God you want to worship, or do whatever you want to do within the confines of law, then America is the place where you can do that. This is the place. We were founded on that. I have a Declaration of Independence hanging on my wall right here. A lot of you guys can see it on some of the live feeds that I did. And the self-appointed, Liz. I think that's his self-appointed title, maybe. But I try to remove certain words from my vocabulary. I think you guys can get away with it better than I can as a Southern man. So I try not to say things like that. But seriously, that's where we are. Like if you get to the point to where you're able to cut out Alex Jones for saying outrageous things, then where does the line drawn? Who draws the line at what's outrageous and what's not? Because these days it seems that certain people can get away with doing and saying things that other people cannot. And that doesn't seem fair. I'm for the side of fairness. I'm not in any way right or left leaning. I think you guys know me well enough in the chat to validate that I'm right down the middle. I don't give a shit, red nor blue. You know what I believe in is green. I believe in whatever is gonna make our nation the most money. But you know why? Because money is what's gonna rule the fucking world. But I just believe, not even green, red or blue. I don't care. I'm right down the middle. I think that the government should stop at my front door unless I do something within my within my household that hurts another human. If what I do inside my household hurts myself, that's my fucking business. If whatever I do, I'm sorry about that. Is the video coming through, or is it just audio or something? But absolutely, Liz, that's a great way to put it. I'm people leaning. I lean towards the people. I'd want the people to have the most control. And yeah, purple. Let's all be purple. You know what? I really just I want to be. I don't know. I guess I call myself a conservative libertarian because, one, I believe that we shouldn't spend money like idiots on stupid things, and I don't think that we should. I don't think that the government is the answer to everything. I don't think that the government is the answer to everything. I just don't feel like. No. You're fine. You're fine, Liz. I get what you mean. Whatever makes us all prosper, not just the rich. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. I want to, and will I vote for somebody who might have a red or a blue tag? Just maybe they are for the same things and morals that I'm for. Maybe they stand for something that I stand for. Yeah, I might do that. But does that define who I am? No, it does not. And does that make me a red or a blue person? No, it does not, because people are too complicated to be confined into that. I just think, like I said, I think that we should not waste money on stupid things. And I think that we should not. I think that the government should not be so involved in the everyday life of people in the country. I mean, I'm a proud American, and I've always been a proud American. And I might not be so proud of a lot of the folks in America right now. And I haven't been for a while, and I'm sorry about that. But I've always been a proud American. I've always loved my country, and I've always been that way. And I always will be that way. I will remain that way till the day that I die. But there's a lot of people who are screwing this country up right now. There's a lot of people who are just taking advantage of a situation at hand, like these companies and these corporations that are keeping pot illegal when it can literally make so many people's lives so much better and so much more enjoyable. Like people who don't have any hope, it will like give them, it'll give them a little bit of joy in their last hours, or it'll help curb whatever symptoms they might have from the things. And yeah, they're just taking more and more things away. Absolutely, Jalen. They're overstepping their boundaries every day. And they're taking just a little bit, little by little, a little bit more of your freedom. And they're doing this, you know what? Because it's all because of your safety. It's for your safety. Of course your phones are always recording you, because we want to make sure that if anything happens to you, that whoever does these things to you will be judged justly. It's all in the name of your safety. You know, I remember in the state of South Carolina here, people are waking up, and I hope they do continue to wake up. Thank you, Jalen. I'm glad that whatever was said that needed to be heard got said. I'm glad that it came out. I'm glad to be the vessel in which that message was received, or given rather. But people are waking up, and it is glorious, Liz. I'm very glad to see that people are waking up to be the person that they are. I got a line in a song that I wrote that I can't play on here because I'll have CD Baby send me an email and say, "Oh, well, we saw that you just played this song that you wrote on this YouTube page, and it kind of belongs to us a little bit." It doesn't really belong to them a little bit. I'm over exaggerating that, but there's a line that I use in that's like, buy their feelings off the rack. Lifting heavy, breaking backs, and buy our feelings off the rack. For those of you not familiar, back in the day, before there were, like department stores and general stores, there was a tailor who would make clothes. He would measure you and make you clothes. Now, back in whenever department stores and general stores and things started coming around, where people could just walk up and buy something off the rack, they'd be like, "Yeah, this fits me well enough. This fits me fine enough. It's not perfect. It's not to my exact dimensions, but I think it'll work. It's close enough." So people buy their feelings that way now. Think about that. So to where they walk by on the rack and they see this says it's my size. I guess I'll just wear this. But then you get it home and you sit down in it, and the pants legs rise up too much, or you it's a little tighter in spots than it should be. It's like, this doesn't really fit me that well, but I'm a size 40, so I guess this is what I do. So people treat their feelings that way these days. They look at it and they say, "Oh, well, I'm a Republican, so I have to, I guess I'll take this. This is how I'm supposed to feel about this thing. This is where I stand on this. And I got to feel this way about this thing that I can't even when I say this thing that I can't even do with my body, I'm talking about abortion. I'm supposed to have this opinion about this thing, even though, as a man, I can't birth a baby. I don't feel like I should have an opinion on that thing. But absolutely, we are the hope of the world right now. Well, we are the hope of the world, and I think we've always been that. I think that anybody who is alive is the hope of the world. Anybody who still has breath within them is the hope of the world, because within them, they have the power to change who they are and then change the world. And absolutely, it's facts versus feelings. It's people just buying their feelings off the rack. They have this idea of what things are supposed to be, and that's how they're going to be. And there's nothing that can be done to change that. But there is something to be done to change that. People can start thinking for themselves. They can start compiling their own opinions about things rather than allowing those around them tell them what they should believe and how they should act. That's not right, is it? It's bullshit for sale. It's snake oil. Absolutely, that's what it is, Liz. 100%. I don't understand how people aren't seeing this. That it's just, it really is. It's just bullshit for sale. They're just trying to convince you to be more like that ideal citizen that they want you to be. Because George Carlin said it best. They don't want free thinking humans out in the world. They don't want people out in the world that are making their own ideas and having their own plans to change the world. They don't want that. They don't want a well-informed community. They want obedient workers. That's what they want. They want somebody who's smart enough to work on the assembly lines and just dumb enough not to ask why. I don't know if that's how George Carlin said it, but I'm pretty damn sure that's close to right. That's exactly what they want. If you look in schools right now, I was working at Starbucks in North Myrtle Beach when it had first opened up, and we had a guy who worked at the bank down the road that came in the drive-thru every day, and I saw him. And I saw him every day, and we got to know each other, and just it was a point in my life where I was like feeling bad that I was like working at a drive-thru in Starbucks, and I was like, yeah, this isn't McDonald's or anything like that, but I'm working in a fucking drive-thru, man. Like this is not the life I wanted. So I started talking to the guy. I was like, hey man, I would work with money all day. Can I get a job? And he was like, we need you to go to college, get like a 2-year degree, and then come back. And did Kanye really say free thinking is a superpower? That's why we're depressed and have so much anxiety. We're not free. Absolutely, we're given the illusion of free. We've given the illusion that we're free. But in this guy who had asked for a job. And it was an embarrassing thing, like, because I was, like, walking in, like, above my pay grade in a big way, like, saying, to go from working a drive-thru and working, like, bar at a Starbucks was nothing compared to, like, going to a bank and working, like, a real job. But I asked this dude for a job, and it was kind of embarrassing, and he kind of, like, laughed me off in a way. And I was very embarrassed when that shit happened. And he was like, we don't really care about what you get a 2-year degree in. We really just want to know whether or not you are able to learn. And that's what the 2-year degree is about. Like, just to go see that you're willing to put in the time to see a goal through. And I understand that, but I think that's exactly what grade school is now. They're training you. It's almost like they train you to be a prisoner. I remember my uncle Jimmy Jr., has been in and out of prison all my life. And once when he was out for a while, when I was like young and like a question asking kid, just asking fucking questions left and right, I would ask him what it was like. And the stuff that he described to me, what it was like, was just like school to me. He described what I do at school. He was like, yeah, well, we get up and got in this one line and you walking through and you stand and you, what's up, Todd? How's it going in there? Welcome back to the machine. But yeah, it just like being 2 years for RN, 4 years to teach the alphabet. Is that real? 2 years for registered nurse? Huh. Wow, well, right on, Jalen. I'm glad that we're on the same page. But yeah, seriously, like just thinking about that, the comparison between prison and school, it just seems like they're gearing the youth of our nation to work in factories like over for so long, like to work in, like, at least the generation before me and me, it felt like they were either preparing you for prison or to work in a factory or something like that, or just to take simple orders. But they just don't understand that people are so different. Like, you can't teach the same way. I think I talked about it in Liz. You've recently listened to that episode. I think I might have talked about this where I did bad in school. Like, I failed the 6th grade a couple times, and I think that you guys can tell I'm not an idiot. I'm not a fucking moron, but like, I failed the 6th grade a couple times, and like, I failed the 10th grade. I just didn't care. Once I realized that I wasn't going to use any of the stuff that they could teach me, I just didn't care anymore. I did not care. And I didn't even know then. Like, I guess I subconsciously knew that I would end up not needing that shit in my life. But once I decided that shit, I got on with my life. I started getting good at the things that I'm doing now that make me money. Yeah, I did pass the test. But that's because I knew how to learn on my own. I knew how to teach myself things. Like, I learned, my English teachers would never take the time with me. Matter of fact, I have never had an English teacher who took time with me. But I feel like my essay writing and my writing ability, period, was top notch amongst my peers in just about every level of high school and middle school. And none of them ever took me any time. When Miss Wilson was my teacher for 2 years, and she hated me. The only reason that she passed me was because she didn't want to have me for a 3rd year. And I think she got fired the next year because she talked so much shit to me and called me stupid and just I was a mean kid. I would talk back to the teachers. I was a mean kid. But they do. And I didn't even know you had said that. They kill the kid's spirit. But I did, man. STEM programs is different. I never heard of that. But now I'm sure that's a lot better. If I trust your judgment. But yeah, they do kill the kid's spirit. And my spirit was killed. But I that's my thing. Like, I write, and I learned how to write by reading of Mice and Men and Lord of the Rings and just random shit the Bible. I learned how to write and use vocabulary and use words from those things. Like, I'll even write sometimes, like write songs like they're a verse from the Bible. But look at the people who had teachers or coaches that told the kids they weren't going to be good. Oh, absolutely. And And Liz wants to give her teacher standing ovations. That's really good. And you know what? Maybe it was me. Because I did have a lot of problems with a lot of teachers. It couldn't have been all of them. It surely was me. But I just don't think that I was for school, man. I just don't think school was for me. And school just wasn't for me. That wasn't my thing. I could have done without that 12 years. I wish I would have spent 12 years of doing more guitar, doing more music. But and math wasn't fun for me because the week that multiplication tables were introduced, I spent that in the hospital because I fell off the back of my Aunt Marie's car and got a blood clot inside my brain and died 3 times on the way to the hospital from Bennettsville to Florence, and was homeschooled for like a month afterwards. And I got back to school and I was multiplication tables behind everybody else. Like, I was not up to speed with everybody else when I got back to class. Like, I missed easily a month of school. And then when I got back to school, multiplication tables, like there were different symbols. When I left, they were doing addition and subtraction, and when I got back, they were doing like multiplication and long division. And I swear to God, like, I missed that much in school, and it was never the same after that. It was never the same after that. No, I don't want to say that. My Aunt Marie was not very much older than me at this point. Like, she was young, and God rest her soul. She is not here anymore, and I miss her every day. But I can't blame her for that. It was just a sort of thing to where I was trying to get off of the car. Like, she beat herself up for the rest of her life about that, and she always felt really bad, but it was never really her fault. It was she wasn't, it wasn't like it wasn't her fault at all. 100% it wasn't. She was still driving, and I tried to step off of the car, and like, I just hit my head. It was my fault because I was just trying to be a kid and do something cool and jump off of a moving car like I'd seen in the TV, you know. But yeah, she was my Aunt Marie. She died. In 3 years, I will be older than she ever got to be if I make it that far. But yeah, she was the best person I ever knew. But anyway, yeah, so like, I got back to school and I was so far behind everybody else. I was just so far behind. I was so far behind everybody else, all of my peers in school, that I couldn't keep up. I couldn't keep up with math, and math never made any sense to me after that. Like, it never made any sense to me because I missed that month of time where they're learning multiplication tables and just knowing how to do them. And like, it took me, I was delivering candy. I was delivering candy for World's Finest Chocolate. And I was walking to the house down the street. And it wasn't like, this isn't like, no, you're fine. Not at all, Liz. Not at all. Not even close. You're fine. But no, like, she was driving, and it was like not long. It was maybe like a quarter of a mile down the road. Like, it wasn't like she was speeding driving down. Like, it was like she was barely moving. I just slipped off the back of the car. But she was yeah, exactly, Roseanne, and not only Roseanne, but Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison, like, just same thing happened to Sam Kinison. Both of them got ran over. But no, it was just a situation where I just missed a very crucial point of learning for math to ever make sense to me again. And then we did like algebra and stuff like that, and I'm not very good. Like I'm much better at that stuff now than I was when I was actually in school, believe it or not. But I'm still not good at it at all. But I think that after that accident happened, I got to where I just didn't care anymore, and I was just very focused on whatever it was I was doing right then. Like if it were music or whatever it was I was doing at that point, I was all about it, and I was 100% involved in it. I wanted to join the Marine Corps, and I was just obsessed with the Marines, and everything that I did was to prepare me to be in the Marine Corps. And I was living that life for a little while, and I was ready to go. And then my Marine recruiter saw me play a show at Red Bone Alley in Florence and said, this is your thing. Like you can go be a Marine if you want to go be a Marine, but this is your thing. Like you're playing music is like, that's something that I don't see. He in so many words, he was like, I've seen you do a lot of different things. This is the thing that you do. And this is the thing that makes sense. So he told me that, and I decided I wasn't like, okay, now I'm going to do just music, not the Marine Corps. But no, I actually addressed that whole part of it, Liz. If you ever get bored, there's an episode of the podcast called The Marie Talk, and about my Aunt Marie. And I got super emotional in that one because I think it was on either her birthday or the anniversary of her death. But she was 35. When we were little, well, I say when we were little, and I was little, we used to like sit up till midnight or later playing Yahtzee or whatever, and Granny would always say, whenever I get old, y'all gonna have to be the ones to take care of me. And then Marie would always say, when I get old, I better not have to do nothing for myself. All these nieces and nephews I got to take care of me. Well, she never got to get old. Oh, Liz Marie. No worries, Liz. I appreciate you hanging out with me, darling. Have a good night. So young, Abby. 100% so young. You are not an ass, Liz. Nonsense. Nonsense. You are not an ass. Love you dearly. But nah, I just like that kind of, I guess that sort of set me apart from everybody else in school. So I think at an early age I was pretty much fuck this shit, you know. I appreciate that, Jalen. I'm not doing a whole lot of music today. I've got this electric's not as easy to play like comfortably as it. Because that sounds cool on electric, but I think it'll just sound so much better on acoustic. And when I got electric, I just kind of want to do stuff like this. want to do stuff like that. But nah, that does though. Just going back, and I know I went on a long tangent about school in my experience and such, but I just know that if that was my experience, I know a lot of people that I went to school with are probably now working a lot of those factory jobs or in jail, or just taking orders. They're working jobs where they take orders because that's what they want people to do. It's not interest to government. Yeah, not at all, Liz. Don't feel bad. I actually feel bad that she feels bad. Don't feel bad. You're not an ass. We love you, Liz. But no, they don't want people. They don't want leaders. They want followers. They don't want to train leaders because there's too many people that, I'm the leader. Anybody who's ever tried to do anything with somebody who has to be the leader, you know how difficult it is. It's just people that have a problem just saying, okay, you win. You get this. People don't want that. They want obedient workers, just like George Carlin said. Nothing wrong with being a cashier. And I'm saying that like a lot of the population are robots. They are just robots, and a lot of that's what they want. Is they just want people that are good enough and very smart enough to work jobs and that other people might not want to work. And I'm talking about like your factory workers and things like that. I know I'm getting a phone call from Marsan right now. I'll call you back later, Marsan. I know you're not listening. But yeah, they want people that are just smart enough to work these jobs and be content with doing these jobs regularly. And I'm not anything against your job at all, Jalen, at all. I don't want you to think that at all. I could not do that. I personally could not. I could not do that. I could not. I would choose being broke over working at anywhere where I have to listen to somebody tell me what to do. I cannot stand to be told what to do. It's one of my least favorite things in the world is being told what to do. And I just could never do that. I've done so many episodes on just not doing good, Jalen. Just not being able to take orders. I'm just not good at that. I feel like if I am in... Jamie just went live, so I'm going to get out of here and go over to Jamie's channel. But I'm going to finish this up pretty quick. But yeah, I'm just not made for taking orders. Not made for taking orders. But I certainly appreciate all you guys hanging out with me here, and I do love you dearly. And yeah, waiting tables is out. I could never do that. I was a bartender for a while, like a really long time. But I could never be a server. I could never do that. Like bartender, somebody come up to me, I have something that you need and you're going to ask me for it. And I can give it to you. But I know that if I don't want to give it to you and you don't need it, and I can tell that you don't need it, then I can tell you you're not going to get it. I have that right as a bartender. And that's the only way I could do that. But yeah. I just couldn't, I just can't deal with that. But Wes Standish in the house. Bye now. You been ghost watching in here, Wes Standish, or you just popping in? But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I just could never make sense out of making somebody else money. But anyway, YouTubers, hang tight for just a second. Audio folks, in case you skip past the intro, please go to mistuffpodcast.com. Check out the blog. Lurking. I hear you, Wes. Please go to at MI Stuff Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and at MI Stuff Podcast, the number 1, at MI Stuff Podcast 1 on Twitter. And if you want to follow me, at Yonder Wizard, WIZZERD on Twitter, and at Kelsey Hudgens, KELSEYHUDGINS on Twitter. And you can also get me on Facebook with the clown. I'm the one with the clown face. YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube page. We desperately need to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to do that within the next year. And if those of you watching or listening, if you have not subscribed, please click subscribe to the YouTube page. Please share the YouTube page. Help me get to 1,000. I'm very generous with giving everybody wrenches, making moderators of folks. I'm very generous with that. So there's incentive to that. Also, anybody who wants to help out financially, you can drop some dollars to the PayPal tip jar that can be found in the YouTube description, or the GoFundMe that has been shared also in the YouTube description, but it's been shared all over everywhere. Any donation gets IMDb credit for producer. And absolutely, Abby's right. Hit the like button on your way out, please. And let's see. Anything else? Got a few more good episodes coming up lately. I'm going to get off my ass and start booking some actual guests, so y'all won't be so bored of just listening to me talk on these days. And I got a few more days off this week before I go back to work, so you guys will probably be seeing me pop in here and there on Jamie's chats and on my channel here. So there's that. All right, I think that's all I got for you, audio people. Have a good night, day, life, wherever it is, whatever it is you're doing. I love you, and I wish you well on your journey. And if with good intentions and with no harm to others, I wish you victorious in all of your battles. I've been watching Game of Thrones too much. But anyway, yeah, be a good person. In a world full of shitty people, don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Peace, bitches. Hang tight, YouTubers. Let's do an intro here real quick. Hey, guys. How you living? You doing well? Good. Glad to hear that. So in this episode, I just kind of jammed around on the electric guitar for a little while and talked randomly about things that came to mind, and eventually got into the whole I'm not right or left, I'm right down the middle, and people aren't thinking for themselves, and the government doesn't want people thinking for themselves, and this whole thing. And then I went back to some of the old stories from the old episodes and touched on that a little bit. And shit, in the beginning, I talked about the weddings a little bit, and the wedding situation, and being sad that I wasn't able to be at Carrie's wedding, but being glad to be here, be able to help out Chad and Brittany, who needed my help at their wedding. And I was sad that I wasn't able to be at both of them, but I was glad to be a part of one. But anyway, still stresses me out that I wasn't there. I hate it. But anyway, beside the point. Please go to the Facebook page. Please go to the Instagram and YouTube and Twitter at MI Stuff Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and at MI Stuff Podcast 1, the number 1 on Twitter. And on YouTube, Kelsey Hudgens, spelled just like it says on the just like it says on the sign. However they say it. Kelsey Hudgens, KELSEYHUDGINS. Also at Kelsey Hudgens on Twitter. At Yonder Wizard, YONDERWIZZERD on Instagram if you want to follow me personally on Instagram. And Facebook, same name with the face of a clown. So hit me up on there if you see so fit. Yeah. What else do we got? Share the YouTube page so that we can get to 1,000 viewers. Please do that. And if the good Lord has put it on your heart to help us out financially at all, you can click the paypal.me/Kelsey Hudgens and drop the some dollars in the tip jar if you see so fit, or the GoFundMe. There's going to be some more dollars that need to be spent here in the coming months to keep the podcast afloat, basically. I should be able to do well enough in the summer after I've paid off all of my other debts that I've accrued over the winter to go ahead and go ahead and pretty much get a whole year of broadcaster on Podomatic. So should be able to do that, but that's going to be somewhere around the $400 or $500 mark. But either way, it's going to be happening soon. And what else do I got for you? I think that might be it. mistuffpodcast.com. Go to mistuffpodcast.com. Check out the blog. Yeah. So, before I go any further, shout out to our sponsors, the fine people over at screwballwhiskey.com. Check them out at screwballwhiskey.com, and get yourself a bottle shipped right to your front door. Screwball peanut butter whiskey. It's delicious. Yeah. So anyway, without further ado, guys, I'll go ahead and let you get to some content. Episode number 131 of the MI Stuff Podcast. Enjoy, motherfuckers. All right, YouTubers, thanks for hanging out. I love you. I mean it. Be a good people. In a world full of shitty people, don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Peace, bitches.